right, welcome back, everybody, to yet another agent call review. I tell you guys this all the time. Always remember that you should absolutely have your mentor do this for you. You always want to know what you're doing wrong, and then on top of it, you want to know what you're doing right, so that way you can continuously do what's right. I have a special little treat today. I am actually going to have the agent that I'm reviewing on with us. I know a lot of you have requested this again. It seems like you really enjoy the banter back and forth and, some of the unique insights that we come up with along the way. So I have Mr. Paul Heaton with us or Paul Van Halen, right? Um,
Whatever works. It's
Perfect. Always remember, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence isn't an act, it's a habit. So, if you guys are new here, I'm Ryan Valet, your expert or final expense expert. And I'm just here to basically help as many people as I can understand the ins and outs of selling final expense life insurance. So, do me a favor, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell down below. And then on top of it, if you guys would comment below and let us know what you think of the call, give Paul some kudos in the comments. I'm sure he would appreciate it. So, with that said, guys, let's get it started.
Hey, just giving you a quick call with the final expense options you were looking into. You wanted to set your children up as the beneficiaries, yes?
I was looking into it, correct.
Okay, yeah, happy to help you out with it. Was this for yourself or a loved one?
Myself.
All right, and how long have you been looking?
Well, I have life insurance through my job, but I was thinking that if something happened and I had to quit work, then I would lose that insurance. So
Yeah, that's true. Especially in, I don't think I've ever heard of anybody that was able to keep the policy after they quit or they left unless they took over the payments. And usually those policies are what we call term, so they're usually pretty expensive. When are you planning on leaving your employer anytime soon?
no,
Okay, all right. So you're just kind of looking to put something in place so that it's something that you'd never be able to lose.
correct.
Okay, yeah, happy to help you out with that. All right. Well, it's if have you spoken to, I will, like, I'm a state licensed agent so from my perspective, I don't care which company you go with. I care about you, but if there's a policy with a company that you like, and if it actually exists, I can pull it and just pick up the thread from there. Do you have something on the table, or should we kind of start from scratch?
I don't have anything.
Okay. All right. Well, then let's start from the top then. All right. Well, it's based on age and health. So, what's your date of birth so I can verify your age?
I'm years old.
Got it. All right. Now, I certainly don't need you to go jump on a scale or anything silly like that, but I do need you to tell me approximately how tall you are and approximately how much you weigh.
I'm 5.
Okay. All right. And do you smoke the cigarettes?
No.
Oh, thank gosh. Okay. That is usually one of the biggest issues I have trying to help people out with this. All right. And of course, we're in, so let me make sure I select the correct slot down for that. All right. Now, remember, it's based on age and health. So approximately how many individual prescription drugs do you take?
3.
3. Okay. Let's go ahead and start from the top. Which ones do you take?
I take Lantus.
Okay. All right. And this is very, let's see here. Make sure. All right. Yeah, that's a brand name prescription. It's mainly so
Right.
I'm assuming that you have some, okay. All right. What's the next one?
The other one is
Okay. Insulin is a kind of a fast-acting insulin analog used to treat. Right. Okay. And so that's an injection that you're getting, right?
correct.
All right. Now, do you give it yourself, or do you go to a doctor to do that?
No, I get it myself when I need it.
Okay. Got it. Oh, okay. So it's as needed. All right. And what's okay? Now now there's a generic thing on there, but it's mainly used to treat.
Correct.
Say what? Okay.
It's
yeah.
called.
All right. Yeah, good job at pronouncing that. I didn't think I could do that. All right. Let's see. Do you have any complications? That is to say, neuropathy or nephropathy?
Is not from. I have it, but I also have another.
Okay. Okay. All right. How long have you been taking the Sargi? Yeah.
Probably about a year.
Okay. All right. About a year. All right. And I'm assuming, just talking to you, you sound like somebody who knows how to take care of themselves. So unless I'm horribly wrong, then I'm sorry if I offended you. But I'm assuming that you haven't had uncontrolled diabetes in the last 2 years?
Unfortunately, I have.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry to hear. That's no fun. All right. Has your A1C, is it currently less than 8%?
No.
Okay. All right. Is it, what's its current level?
The last I had my A1C done, it was over 11.
Woo! Okay. All right. Let's see here. Well, I'm glad we're being on top of it. At least you know. Some people, they don't know, and then they find out too late. It makes it sad. All right. Okay, so we've got how long have you been taking the
I have no idea.
Would you say like before or after COVID?
Probably about the same time.
Okay, I'll say 2020 then. How many total units do you take every day?
So I take 50 units a day.
Okay. Okay, so take, right? Right. Yes. No. I want to make sure this is
I
correct.
thought the one that I looked into said there would not be any health questions.
Well, I am a state licensed agent and I will tell you that my job is to find the lowest possible price. The more I know, the lower I can go. I mean, if you don't want me to ask any health questions, I'll do that.
No, that's okay. I was just curious.
Yeah. I will tell you that I can't speak for others. I can tell you that we here do not, under any circumstances, put out ads that promise that, because it's a little misleading. It's not that we don't have to. Like, technically, I can just quote you the highest underwriting rate, but then that's not the best rate, and you're going to end up dropping it anyway, and then it's going to make everyone, like, it's going to make the insurance company sad. So let's take a look here. 2 years, yes. No. Okay, and then finally, there we go. Here we go. Wait a minute. We talked about the, and then that's what we're talking about. All right. Now, all right. Let's see, you've been since about 2020?
Correct.
All right. Let's see. We're going to say, well, in your case, are these two different prescriptions you're taking?
They are is fast acting. The Lantus is slow acting.
Okay. So are you taking each?
No.
Okay. All right. So, but you're right?
Correct.
Okay. Uncontrolled diabetes, yes. No. All right. So to the first fill. And how many units do you take?
So that is on a sliding scale.
Okay. What's the low end on that?
Hold on just a moment. So I take, well, it actually says units under the...
Okay. All right, but it's on sliding scale, so it's
right.
All right. Okay.
That's not what he's told me, because I think it's per every...
Okay. Graded, express, standard. Okay. Okay, so, all right, I'm going to send you a little bit of information.
Okay, so we're going to pause it right there and kind of go over. We're about halfway through the call-ish. Just going to go over a few things here, a few pointers. I want to start off by commending Paul on he does a fantastic job on creating rapport. He knows how to talk with people and joke around, conversate, so forth and so on. So that's really important. If you are extremely dry and you don't create any rapport whatsoever, you're probably going to struggle. So definitely work on your rapport building. But Paul does a great job there. As you can hear, she's talking and so forth. One of the things that I wanted to kind of talk about and want everybody to realize or kind of notice is that she's not overly engaged. You'll get some people like this who either just want to get straight to the point or they really don't want to talk to you because they feel you're a salesman and they don't care. They don't care what you have to say. When it comes to this particular client, you can hear she's far less engaged than really what she probably should be. So, biggest thing that we want to keep in mind is if you hear that, you need to make sure that you're pulling things out of them. Just out of curiosity, Paul, why or what made you go into the health questions or asking her about her prescriptions? But we were at about, I don't know, roughly 3 minute mark, 4 minute mark, something like that. What made you go in that soon?
The way I like to work is I want to know the prescription drugs that they're on as quickly as possible because broadly speaking, the insurance companies are not really going to have a lot of access to their actual health conditions, but they are looking at the drugs that they're on. And by talking about their drugs, you can sound like the expert when you're talking about them. So I've been doing this for so long at this point. When they say a drug, most of the time I go like, okay, this is what that drug does. This is what that does. So it does a few things on my side. One, it helps me build credibility with the client. Two, it allows me to find out what's actually going on in a way that's non-threatening to the client. A lot of people don't want to admit, this or that condition. And I was listening to this myself. I was like going, oh, dude, why did I say, hey, you sound like you take good care of yourself and you probably never had you're probably under your A1C. It's like, no, uncontrolled diabetes. And like, ooh,
Yeah.
Open foot, insert mouth.
Right.
That's why these calls are important to do.
Yeah.
And you're right on, Ryan. I really could sense that she just wasn't engaged. I had to just to get her to get to understand each other as well as how many units she's taking and the age. So while she's doing that, I'm busy going in to the system and entering it in. And one other thing I'm hearing as we're doing this call is that I'm talking too much. I'm rambling, I'm mumbling while I'm doing it on my side. What I'm trying to do is sound like I'm engaged with her, but because she's not engaged, it's making me seem like I might need to take some special meds myself.
Yeah, and look, man, I still got to give it to you. I don't think it's that bad, by any means. Again, that's why I love to do these calls is so you can hear it live and we can kind of talk through it. I don't necessarily blame you for wanting to get right into the drugs. Typically, the only times that I get right into medication, I usually only do that whenever someone is just absolutely pressuring me to get on with it or we have to be in a hurry. That's really the only times that I will jump right into it. The reason why is because, like in this case, she's not engaged. It's as simple as that, right? And asking her some other questions could help her engage rather than getting right into it. It could help her to engage a little bit more, or as we have in the script, determine whether she's a prospect or a suspect, right? We find out as we get into the call, everybody continue to listen because you'll see why it's so important to get her engaged because we'll see what happens at the end of the call, which will explain it all, right? Again, like I said, it's not the end of the world to get right into medications. I don't like to get into medications within about 5 minutes most of the time. I like to make sure that I feel that they've got some trust in me, and then I use the medications to then sink that in even further that, hey, look, I am authority figure, I am an expert, and I'm licensed to do this, So, but one thing that I will add to help her engage, make sure she knows or she is educated whenever it comes to her job insurance. One of the things that I would recommend that you could have done differently in this, right, would be when she mentioned she had job insurance. For everybody on the call, including Paul, in case you didn't know this, there are some job insurances that do follow you, especially if you work for the government. Some of them you don't even have to pay for. So, like teachers and somebody who worked, for the governor or whatever, basically anybody who works for the state, oftentimes they will have something that carries over from the job and they don't even have to pay for it. Some jobs will allow you to take it with you. Some jobs will actually offer like a whole life policy that's not the typical work group rate. So the good thing about that is they don't have to worry about actually continuing that. Or the good thing about having a whole life policy is that allows them to keep the same rate. But many jobs, I would say the largest majority of jobs, do not allow you to take your life insurance with you. And it's as we most of us know it, it's a group term rate. And when you leave, it's going to cost you 10 times the amount of what it did if you were even paying for it at the job. I say all that because the first question that you ask, or that I ask rather, is okay, so with your job insurance, are they going to allow you? Wait, do you have a government job? Like, did you work, for the state or anything? And then whenever she confirms, no, no. Okay, okay. So you know that when it comes to you retiring, which I'm going to guess you're not looking to work for the rest of your life, right? No, no, I want to retire. So then you ask her, it sounds to me like you're not going to get to keep that whenever you leave. Now, even though, as I said that, I'm being assumptive that she knows that, even if she doesn't. So, and the reason why I do that is because one, if they do know it, I want to make them feel kind of smart. If they don't know it, I want to make them kind of feel smart that they know it, right? And you'll also get the third option of, oh no, I had no idea. So it does a couple things. It gets them conversating about their actual life and why they're looking into it. And then it also builds that authority figure and trust factor that you know what you're talking about, right? So that's one of the things that I would recommend in this call is to really dig at that and make sure that she knows one way or the other whether she's going to get to keep it or whatever, because now you can build urgency off of that. Right now, she just sounds like, yeah, whatever. Come on, I want to get the price. Come on, let's do this. And if you just follow along with that, and again, like Paul said, he may have talked a little too much, but it's easy to do if you're not asking the right questions. I would typically recommend not to be asking health questions until about 5 minutes because it's going to take you that long to do the initial fact finding of, do you have anything? Have you ever had anything? Are you ever going to have anything? How important is it to you for you to have something? And then you introduce yourself. Once you get through all that, and then you kind of get either into their why or you reaffirm their why, that's usually going to be somewhere around 5 minutes. When it comes to the health questions, just a little tip for you, Paul. One of the things that I would recommend is I have never seen, and maybe you can comment to this. I've never seen it where asking all the health questions and in other words, getting so granular in the health questions where it really helps underwriting. When was your A1C? When was the last time you gave yourself a shot? In most cases, I haven't seen that beneficial because one of two things is going to happen. The carrier is going to make the decision in the end anyways. But the other thing, clients do lie. They fib. very often. So it's very possible. Oh yeah, I don't take any heart medication at all. I mean, they said something about congestive heart failure, but no, that medication, yeah, I take that, but it's not for congestive heart failure. Just curious if you've seen something in underwriting that makes you kind of get so deep into it like that.
The reason why I get a little deeper than what many agents will do when it gets to this point is that what I'm trying to do is build rapport with them. Because you're 100% right. Oftentimes, clients will use phrases like, well, they say I have C, congestive heart failure, or that's what they're telling me, or at one point, and they don't want to acknowledge. I hope I'm not coming across as making fun of these folks. Dealing with your own mortality is not something that's fun for anybody, right? And acknowledging to yourself that you have congestive heart failure, that you have these issues is scary, man. So I like to get into the details a little bit because I'm trying to build rapport at the same time while trying to determine which way things are going. In this particular case, she just did not want to be engaged, and I could just feel myself going like, "Come on, woman, let's build some rapport. I'm trying to help you, but it's easy for me to blame her, but clearly I was not able to do it. I think if I a little smoother would have been able to get more out of her because she clearly needs the product. I just was not able to connect with her in a helpful way.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and that makes complete sense. Everybody's got their own process, especially in rapport building. Because I totally agree. I do the same thing. It's like I said, it's just later on in the call. But as we listen more, you'll hear that you hit most of all the other points. Obviously, you've made plenty of sales yourself by doing it this way. I guess my point is although you may have a different order, you're still hitting all the points, and that's what's most important. I would have definitely used the work life insurance to kind of pull her in a little bit more. I would look for more of a why. Oh wow. So now I understand why you're interested in looking into it. You want to make sure that you have something that lasts you your whole life, even after you retire. And I'm sure you don't want to pay those huge rates whenever you do retire, right? Like I use that to then tell them now's the time, push that button of the longer you wait, the more expensive it's going to get. You can just continue to press that button and then say, well, then you always know that you've got something in place so you don't have to worry about them having to pay for it out of pocket, right? Let's play out the rest of the call here and see what we can do.
They are smartphones.
I am.
Okay, I call them dumb phones. They do not do anything for me. So I'm going to. Oh, why is this not working for me? So I'm going to send you some information via text, and if you need to put me on speaker while we do these things, you can totally do that. It's
I've already got you on speaker.
Okay, perfect. Oh, that's perfect. I love hearing that. Sometimes well, from my perspective, you're a spring chicken. A lot of the people that I get to talk to are like in their late 70s, and they don't understand how to use their text messaging app and their phone at the same time. So it's like, but I'm glad that's not the case here. All right, so am I pronouncing that right?
That's correct.
Okay, I'm going to send you a text message in a few moments, and we're going to do three things together. The first thing is I'm going to send a text message, and you need to confirm that you received it. The second thing, I want to make sure that I spelled your name right because I'm nothing if not respectful. And the third, there is a little bit of hypertext in the body of the text message. I don't need you to tap on it. I just need to make sure that it got to your phone. Are you ready? Okay, I'm going to send it to the phone number that ends.
I want to pause it real quick. Paul, I want to ask you, what are you doing here when you send this? What is she getting exactly?
Okay. So this part, what we're going into here, is what I personally call my suspect or prospect speech. Okay, that is about to happen here. All right, this is where now I came up with that term from your videos. I didn't know why I was calling it that. The downside of this thing, right? It does several things. One, it confirms that they know how to use their phone. It confirms that they have some basic technological understanding. Is this going to be somebody where I need to go with triangle or Trinity, right? Where everything has to be done by phone? Is this somebody who's sophisticated enough to use DocuSign? Is this somebody who understands? I have no way of knowing that until this point. If they don't, I don't even know how to derp and derp and derp. And that's not a sign of stupidity, certainly, right? But it is a sign that they don't have the ability for me to go certain places. So it's a technological barrier. So I know what I'm dealing with. This is why I do. Second thing it does is it allows me to build rapport. What's going to happen is they're going to see my face. I'm going to be like, hey, my girlfriend says I'm a very stunningly attractive man, so don't fall in love with me. This is the phase where I'm going to be building rapport and explaining to them, like, hey, I trust your data, so don't just enter in your data automatically, right? Then I go into this long kind of legalistic talk that I'm constantly editing this. Like every time I have a negative experience with somebody, I go back in there and I change or add or nip like what do you call it, a bonsai tree. All right. Every sentence is got a specific purpose. If they put up with this at the very end, okay, they will know who I am, who I work for, the line is being recorded, what I need from them to have an adult conversation, right? And if I can't engage with them through this talk, what are we doing here? Why are we talking? I got like 5 other people that you, Ryan, have spent 15 to 20 bucks a lead on that I need to get to right now. And if you're not going to give me your banking information and your social security information, if you can't tell me right off the bat that you have 18 warrants out for your arrest and or something like that, I am a professional on this side of the phone. You want a professional. And if you can't treat me like a professional, hey, great for you. Go away. They think they're interviewing me. This is the part where I am interviewing them. But you do not have a choice how old you are. You have limited choice on how healthy you are. You kept putting this off for 25 years. The time for free choice is gone. It's done. And so in order for me to help you, you need to trust me. And that's what this talk is for. That's
so let me ask you, so the link in there, is that like Crankwheel?
Yes, it's Crankwheel. It is opening up Crankwheel because that's telling me how advanced their phone is.
Sure.
Are they using one of those flip phones? Mm-hmm. Right? Maybe they can see the text, but they can't see the flip phone. It is testing their technology, testing their literacy, testing if they respect me as a human being as much as I'm trying to help them.
Yeah, no, 1,000%. So it's actually a live video while you're talking to them, they can see you, right?
Oh, no. That part, there is a part in my pitch where I do a meeting.is. So when they agree, there's a part in the way I do it, as I say, okay, look, which one of these ones you want to do? And when they go like, okay, we're going to start an application, then I will send them another link where they will see me. What's actually happening on my side is that it allows me to access the camera to the other app. That means that I'm in the middle of actually doing an application with that client.
Okay.
Still a face of me. But so they're looking at a static picture of my business card, my digital business card. And during that, as you'll hear, I say that's a picture of me. And I even make sure I want to check their vision. So I will refer to the painting. That's why that painting is back there, right? Mm-hmm. I want them to acknowledge that there's a thing down there because I need to know if they can't figure that out, they may not be mentally competent.
Yeah.
So I say, I think that looks like a rabbit, or I think that looks like a burning bush. What do you think it looks like? That's, again, these are all little subtle things that I'm doing to make sure that they have the cognizant ability to make consensual conversations. If they fail this test, they don't know they're being tested right now, right?
Yeah.
If they do miss anything on, I will respectfully, pass them along. Unless they really, really want something, then they'll call me back. Then they'll use that digital business card. They'll reach out to me, and then we can have a conversation.
Yeah. I was curious because I've heard this in your calls, you go over a lot of this detail and so forth. I definitely like it, right? Like it's doing something for you. You're doing something right. You're selling a lot of insurance. So there's definitely something. I was actually hoping that you would say that it was like Crankwheel or something, that you were having them open and that you were showing a live video of yourself right now.
They're seeing a static digital business.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I'm not just taking a screenshot of a business card because I want them to tap on the link
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
open up. So that's telling me that that's them tapping on the link tells me they will do what I tell them to do, and that their phone is sophisticated enough to download a PDF. If they can't even see the link, that tells me that like I can't use American Amicable because it's never going to download the PDF.
Yeah. Yeah.
If they can't open up their text messaging app, how can I get SMS confirmation?
Yeah.
So yeah, so I messed myself up by farking the software platforms.
Now, I will add, it's important for everybody to know that not everybody's going to be able to do what Paul does. And for two reasons. Paul's pretty much a stud, right? But I
Go
will,
on, please.
right.
Don't soothe my ego.
So amazing looking. And I just love that rabbit in the background. Oh, wait, no, that's a tree. um, no, but Paul knows what he's doing, right? So I wouldn't recommend this for someone who's just starting out because you can easily, as Paul would put it, fark it up. So you want to make sure that you're using something at least simple, and you can always expand upon it. I love hearing things like this. Clearly Paul is doing something right because he sells a lot of insurance. So maybe there's something that we can add to the repertoire that will improve the process, right? Because I always want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to solidify every sale that we can. And building trust, Paul couldn't be more dead on with that. Building trust and knowing how competent your client is unbelievably huge. I've got a little bit different way that I do it throughout asking the health questions, but again, that's just something I don't even do every single call because, and I'm sure Paul doesn't do everything he does on every single call because there's certain clients you handle a little bit differently. Let's go ahead and get in here and finish out the rest of this call.
Let me know when you got there.
I've got it.
Okay, perfect. Now, you're going to, that's first part. The second part is, did I spell your name right?
You did.
Perfect. Awesome. So far, so good. Now, the third part, you'll notice a little bit of hypertext in there. Before you tap on it, I want to give you two quick little warnings there, but I do want to make sure that you actually see the hypertext.
Where it says, here's your link with information about me in order to get you the price quote. Okay, I see it.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to give you two little warnings. The first warning is when you tap on that, it's going to bring you to my digital business card. All right. Now, the state makes us do this, but there's one thing that I don't like about it. After about looking at it for 30 to 60 seconds, the background will darken out and the app will ask you to enter in your information to connect with me. You don't need to do that, okay? I'm a state licensed agent. I have the information I need to help you out. I've already got all the information that we need. If I need more, I will have to ask it because the insurance company or the state is asking it. I don't like giving your information to third parties. But if you want to, go for it, but you don't have to, okay?
Okay.
The second part is that when you tap on that, you're going to see a picture of me. And my girlfriend tells me that I'm a stunningly attractive man. But I have to assure you that I am spoken for, so you're not allowed to fall in love with me.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Go ahead. All right. Go ahead and tap on that and let me know when you see my face.
Okay, I see your face.
Perfect, perfect. How do you like that painting in the background?
That's cool.
Yeah. Well, my girlfriend's sister painted that. Some people, because their eyes aren't that good, they say that the tree looks like it's on fire, but I think it looks like a normal tree. I don't know. Okay, so Sandra, I'm a state licensed agent, so I have to go over some rules with you, and I can't help you until they are 100% sure we understand each other and what we're doing here. Now, as of this conversation, if I'm given to understand, you have a life insurance policy through your employer, but do you have anything other than that policy?
I don't.
Okay. So just to be really clear, I don't, you're not going to hurt my feelings. If we find out just legally, I have to put on any application if there is something already outstanding, and that's why I'm asking. Now, that digital business card, which is now on your phone, has my full name, my mobile number, my email address, the name of the company that cuts my checks, my national producer number that Kentucky uses to track my secure computer system, and even a recent picture of myself. How do those glasses look on me?
They look okay.
Yeah, my girlfriend picked them up off of zennyoptical.com. I think it looks pretty neat. The national producer number can be cross-referenced against board to confirm that I do not have any criminal record or complaints against my license. Moreover, you'll be able to confirm that I've passed an FBI check, an IRS check, and my fingerprints are on file with a local sheriff. You can even use the national producer number to find out where I physically live, and then have one of your kids or grandkids use Google Maps for a satellite view to see where I keep my chickens.
Okay.
Okay. Heck, if you feel so inclined, you can even print that picture out, have it framed, and then put it on a wall so you can show people who helped you out. I'll be the caseworker on this particular file, for the rest of your life. Okay. All right. Now, we do this because of the nature of my job and the nature of the information you're asking for. It requires me to ask for personal information like your age, weight, health issues, and prescription drugs. If we do an application, I'm required to run HIPAA approval through your Social Security number, collect banking information, and even get the names of family members that you're going to be leaving the money to. So you need to be assured that I've been thoroughly vetted so that you're comfortable with these conversations.
Why do you need my banking information for life insurance?
That's why we're having this conversation right now. Okay. So life insurance is considered a type of financial instrument. All right. Now, certain carriers take certain payment methods. Others do not. So by way of example, some people only use Direct Express. That's a way for the government to pay out benefits. If we're limited by Direct Express, I need to know that, and I need to tell the insurance company that, and they need to register it. If you have a regular bank account, the insurance company will not even run an MIB, will not even do a health check to see if you qualify for the lower rates unless they're sure you're serious. And the only way they're sure they're serious is if they provide banking information. Moreover, when they used to do, they don't do this so much anymore, but when they used to do paper billing, or when they used to do credit card billing, if anything happened, the policy would lapse, the customer would die, and then the family would get very upset. So these days, the insurance companies only do digital checks. But that's why we do it, and that's why the state gives me a license, and that's why we're going over these this conversation now.
Okay. Well, I'm not giving my bank information and my personal information over the phone.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay.
I was just kind of curious on what this would cost, but
it's going to cost.
I'm sorry to bother your time.
No problem. No problem. It's going to cost about $100 per 10,000 until you're actually ready to move forward, and at that point, the rates will go down. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Blessings.
All right. Perfect. Okay. So, just a couple things. As everybody can hear, the call unfortunately landed with no sale, and she did not want to give banking. So that's why I mentioned earlier on in the call, if you had her more engaged, maybe she would be okay with the banking situation. I think it all plays a factor, but the thing to improve upon was the explanation of why the banking, right? As soon as she said, well, why do you need my banking? What I always say is all life insurance carriers out there are going to need your banking. And there's a specific reason as to why. And it's because all carriers want to make sure that you pay your bill. Not to say that you're irresponsible in any way, but what used to happen back in the day is people would mail in checks, mail would get lost, or they forget to mail in a check, their life insurance lapses, and now they have no coverage. So by explaining why it's required to have auto draft on, I also add they do this auto draft so that way you know that the money's always in there when they take the money because they sync it up with your benefits that you get every month. I always like to say stay away from negative things, and talking about how some carriers don't accept Direct Express, with it being negative, then they're like, oh, well, some carriers don't do this, some carriers don't do that, and they start to ask more and more questions. I would also say that some of the explanation, given how long it was, maybe she started to second guess her situation of, well, can I trust this guy? I did like the fact that she threw out there right at the end, well, it's going to cost somewhere around $100, just lob something out there. I wouldn't even give her the satisfaction of that personally, just because I'm like, look, if you're going to be ridiculous, then I'm not going to give you the time of day of even giving you a quote. Could have then said, so are you just saying that you're never going to get any life insurance? That would have been my last comment to her, actually. Before I said anything about a quote, I would have just responded to her with, so you're saying if you have to do an automatic draft that you're not going to get any life insurance and you're just going to let your family pay for that? Like, I like to get those. I'm not trying to be rude, but sometimes you got to dig people. Sometimes you got to really dig into their feelings about stuff in order to get them to come off of whatever reservation they may have. So by saying, so really, Paul, you're just going to leave your family with nothing because you don't want to put your bank account on file or you don't want to give it. And then she is either going to say, well, yeah, I'll never give my bank information, or she's going to say, no, I'll find a local agent. And both of those scenarios tells you it doesn't matter what you're going to do. They're not going to do it. Paul, you got anything that you want to say to the class here to give them any insight on anything?
Yeah, I think a few things. It's really important to review your calls. If you make a certain number of pitches in a day and you haven't made a sale, it is really important that you take the time and you listen to your calls, right? I use a little one of these to record just myself, and then about minimum once a month, I will take a random thing and just listen to myself. I clearly need to shorten up my explanation as to why they need banking information. That was way too long. I also need to shorten up my little spiel there. It would be optimal for me to give them a price quote within 20 to 30 minutes. Is probably, I'm going a little bit too long. Maybe in my own defense, I really was trying to get her to engage with me, and she just really didn't want to do it. But at the same time, I would have rather her hang up now than for me to spend another 20 or 30 minutes going through the application, doing everything I need to do. All right, what's your bank account information? Herp, click. That is what makes me a little twitchy. Yeah. So I would rather her hang up here and we can troubleshoot together as to what's going on than spend another 20 minutes entering in all the information, and then her hanging up and still being just as upset, right? With both of us, neither of us getting what either of us really want out of the conversation.
And thank you for the reassurance there. That's exactly what I impress upon other agents is, look, you want to get that confirmation that they're willing to give you their social, their banking, because if you don't get that out front, you wind up having 20 apps just sitting out there that you can't finish and you almost don't know why, because you bulldoze them to get them to banking and you didn't actually give them the forewarning. So do you know, did their phone just die? Did you piss them off in some way? Did they just not want to give you their banking information? There's that rare occasion where somebody gets there and they freak out, and it's probably something that you did. And I got to commend you on that, Paul, admitting that there is work to be done. A true salesman will always admit when there's work to be done, when there's an improvement to be had, because there's always something you can improve upon. Paul, got to commend you, man. You are doing good work. You know what you're doing. Again, I love doing these calls. I hope to have Paul on more often. I really appreciate your time, man, and hopefully we'll do this again soon.
Looking forward to it, Ryan. Thank you.
Awesome. Again, guys, if you would, do me a favor, drop a comment down below, like and subscribe. Let Paul know, show him some love, fire, whatever you want to do. With that said, guys, see you in the next one.
Subscribe now to be a Fexpert. Do it.